So I ended up with a 2016 Subaru WRX STI. Right now it has an issue with a leaky steering rack, so I took it apart. I took the bottom cover off so I could figure out where it's leaking from, which is the top of the steering rack valve. Can't see it from the top, but it's right down inside here. There's a bunch of videos about taking the whole steering rack out to do it, but I'm gonna see if it's possible. Be quiet, roosters. I'm gonna see if it's possible to do it without taking the whole rack out and just pulling the valve off the top of the rack. Okay, the first step is to take off the lower crossmember brace piece and get rid of all the spider webs. Those things are everywhere. And that might include the rear braces that go back on each side. Those look like 14mm. That one's got a nut on top. And the back ones appear to be 17mm. So those ones are part of it. Okay, once that's down, I should be able to let the rack drop down a little bit so that I can get to that side. I might have to loosen the sway bar and swing it out of the way. Those are 12mm. That didn't really swing out of the way like I was hoping, so maybe I'll have to take it all the way off. It's got an Allen on the inside, so I'll have to use an Allen wrench. Maybe a 6mm. It's not a 5 or a 6. That one works. 7/32. With both of those out, I can pull this out of the way. Okay, now I'll start taking the rack out so that it drops down. So looks like there's some brackets here and over there that are 14mm bolts. Oh, these ones go up into the frame as well. Weird. Might have to take the tie rods down from the ends. I didn't want to do that, but looks like. And I gotta undo the steering shaft. For the steering rack right back here is a 12mm bolt that needs to come out. Maybe that one up there too, so that that little piece can come out. So I'll take out this lower bolt. Tight places and cameras don't always work so well together. So it is not keyed, so I'm gonna put a mark on here to try and get it back in the same location. I tried making a paint mark as best I could. It's not exact, but hopefully it'll let me get it back into close proximity. So now I'm gonna remove the castle, the cotter pin for the castle nut, I should say. Let's see if I I can do this. It's a 19 millimeter. I'll leave that on there a little bit so I don't accidentally hit this nut. Let's see if I can get the lower joint to pop out. Oops. Let's see. There we go. So I'll try and hit it right on this part to get the taper to pop down. Maybe I need a bigger hammer. It's just not doing it. There we go. I just had to get the right angle. Now it's loose. So I can take this off. And that pops out. I'll do that on the other side. I should have done that a little bit ago because now it just popped right out. So now I gotta undo these two lines and these two lines and then undo the two bolts on the valve assembly there. So this one is a 17 millimeter. Hopefully I can hold that still and break those loose. And this one is a tiny one, so probably 12 millimeter. Oh no, it's a 14. Oh no. So it's on the back side here. There we go. I used some stop leak type stuff and it's really sticky and thick, so it gets on everything and doesn't wipe off very well and drips slowly. Those are out. These two up here are smaller definitely than this. They both came undone pretty easily also, which is nice. Is that ever gonna come out of there? Okay, there, that one's loose. Okay, that one's out. Now let's see, they're connected to the thing, so maybe I can get them out. Maybe I can't. Okay. And then the 12 millimeter for the valve body itself. Not sure how this comes off of here though. Well, that just pulls off real easy. Like, put that in there to drain a little bit of that out. And while I figure out how to, oh, there's a clip on the top, I think, that, no, that wouldn't keep it, that keeps it together. Oh, I guess this valve assembly pulls off of there, and then the seal is at the bottom. So I'll pull that C-clip off of the top. There's the little clip. And then hopefully that only goes on in one position. Yeah, it only goes on in that one position, so we should be good there. And then this lower O-ring just slides off of there. I went on to SubaruParts.com, which I think is parts.subaru.com, and ordered kit number 34191VA000, which is the seal kit for this. Hopefully you can see that big number on the white tag there. I'll put it in the description, but it's the two seals for the valve body. So it's the bottom seal that I just took off. Oops, I forgot to pay attention to which way that goes. The side of the gasket with the metal ring, if it's got one, goes down. The side with the groove and the spring in it goes up. So we'll put this on this way with that toward the bottom. And we'll put the valve body back on. Put the clip back on. Oh. Now we gotta swap out the gasket that's up inside there with the new one. And this one I have read that you just pound it out with a socket that fits in there. So let me find a socket. And with my socket set as 17mm Craftsman, fits down in there perfect. I think it's a little large where the numbers are on the socket, but we'll give this a try. I'll use the deep well, that should work. Okay, that popped out. So on this one, the groove with the spring goes down and the solid side goes up. So it goes like that, so it goes back in this way. So I'll try and put this gasket in there as best I can, and then put the little piece of steel, whatever you call it, washer in that way. Now I have them both down inside there, and I'll set it down on my block this way and pound it back in until I get it right. I'm gonna go with a bigger one. I'll go with the 19 this side. Let me check the underside. So it's still got some space in there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but they're not falling out. So Looks like it's all the way up into position. So now it's all the way up in there. Let's put this back in. Now with the new gasket on the bottom, the valve assembly back on, it's not really an assembly, it's just a valve piece back on, and then the valve or the seal inside. We'll go ahead and stick this back on here. I don't really have to worry about the orientation since it goes only one way. Let me see, how do I get that to go in now? Okay. Now put the 2 screws back in. Cut myself a little when I hit it with the hammer. Oh, of course, it's always got to be tighter to turn than you can by hand. Okay, now we will put the dust cover back on after we wipe it off a little bit. Now put the hoses back on. This fell off of here. Hopefully it will go back on reasonably. So I'll put this back on to the passenger side before I put it back up, because that's what bolts the rack up there. So kind of want to put the other 2 hoses on first because they're leaking. The lower 14 mil hose is in position, so I'll tighten that up now. Now the 17 mil is in position. Now I'll do up the 2 10 mil on the top, 12 mil, whatever it is. Sorry, I think I was blocking. Okay, now I'm all back together as far as the valve body is concerned. Now I just gotta put it back up in and put it back together same way as it came out. Whoop. So right now I'm putting the ball joints back in position. Now I'm going to put the bolts for the rack back up, so I got to put this piece on this side. There's a little rubber nub that goes through a hole on here. Okay, now I will get the 17 mil and tighten up the, oh, that's a 14. I thought it was smaller. Okay, now the rack is back up in there. Now I have to put the lower cross brace or bracket or whatever you want to call it on here. Nope, before I do that, I'm gonna put the tie rod back up and put the bolt for the steering bar back in. Okay, so I got this held up there. Hopefully nothing has changed, except for the fact that I didn't put this on before. So I gotta apparently loosen the rack bolts and put this back on, and then do the rack bolts back up. So with the rack bolts back out, this goes right back on, and then I can push it up, and I don't think anything has turned, so it should go something. I can't get it to go on.
Meatloaf for you?
Yeah, that would be good.
It'll be warm in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's an interesting choice of music for you, sweetheart.
Well, at least it's not mariachi music, but now I gotta figure out how to cut it out.
Yep.
Okay, now that bolt's in. I wonder if I can just tighten it up. There, now it's tight, and I'll put the rack bolts back in. Now I'm gonna put the tie rod back up. I know which way it goes because the driver's side was shiny and the passenger side was dusty. So I'm putting it back up that same way. Whoa, watch your face. Watch your face. So one bolt and one nut on each side. Oh, of course, I didn't put it up on this side first, so I like doing things twice. Okay, now it's up. So now I can put the tie rod back together. Okay, now the lower. Oh, how do these stick together? Maybe I need to dip this in that oil. Get oil in that little ball. things go backward. Maybe. Like that. There's a whole lot of these bolts, so we'll just fast forward it. So all the bolts look the same. So the two with the nuts are just two of the same ones with a nut on it. Where's my 14 in? Oh, there it is. Now the two arms use the 17mm bolts. Whoa. And I think that's done for under here. Now I gotta put the steering tie rod, castle nut on, and the sway bar end link nut on. There we have it. Now let's get out here. So for here we'll use the 17 and the Allen wrench. Oh, I got a cramp in my leg when I did that. And then the castle nut. Oh, the castle nut's the 19mm, not the 17. Turn it some more. Oh, that was too much that way. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it's really hard to get in there. So right there's the castle nut I'm working on. Okay, now that side's done. The sway bar end link is connected and the steering tie rod is connected with the castle nut tightened and the cotter pin in. Now we'll do the other side real quick. Steering tie rod, sway bar end link. Okay. Oops, can't do that on this side. Here. And gotta find where the hole is. Oh, perfect. There we go. Now we're all done up, buttoned up. I almost forgot to put the dust cover back underneath. And apparently I didn't keep track of where I put the bolts and clips. So I found a bunch and I'm hoping that they will work. So let me put this back up there real quick. Hopefully I don't need those bolts for the Miata. Watch out. Now the fluids. Okay, got the fluid in to the full line. It'll probably go down a little bit after it starts, but we'll see. Okay, let's see if the battery has enough juice to start. Oh, it does not. Okay, let's try this again with the truck hooked up to it. Turned a little bit better that time, but then got hard again. Maybe if we put you over here, you can see me turning the wheel. There's a lot of air in it. So if you notice right there, the thing is full of air bubbles. Hopefully those clear out. This stuff is so thick it might take forever. There, we got a couple little burps. I don't see any leaks, but it used to quiet down and didn't bubble over so much, but I guess maybe now it does. Let's see if I can get the lid back on and I'll see if it can drive or something.